We're just about set to go. Casey and Box Hill ready to rock from Casey Fields. The final two pieces of the round one puzzle to fall into place today. Away we go. Lucy Wales is in the ruck, and she might have just got outpointed there by Lauren Yatchak, who's on debut. The Hawks win the first clearance through Jazzy Fleming. Hawks going to the right of your radio dial. Fairchild flopped the little handball out the way of Rigoni, who was gang tackled and taken down. And you'd remember her father, Guy Rigoni, who played 107 games for the Demons.
And also wore the 43 Guernsey, I think, as well. He was a long-kicking midfielder.
He also was a part of the Sandringham Zebras three-peat in the Victorian Football League Women's. And Gemma played a couple of games for the Demons last season at this level and did not look out of place. As the Demons are inside 50 here, umpire comes in and says holding on, and there's a free kick going the Demons' way. It was the Hawks that were inside 50, I should apologise. Lily Johnson, her first kick in the red and blue. Off-season recruit from the Power. She comes short and finds young Casey Phillips on debut. Down towards the broadcast wing. Not being able to hold on to that mark was Sarah Darcy. Getting onto the football is Caitlin Thorne. Fends off India Lehman. Sends the Hawks back into attack. Well done there by Stratton, working her way in front and taking the mark. Handball off to Bates, who drives it down towards full forward. Slipped through the fingertips initially there of Sheriff. Tried to double back and pick up the loose football at the top of the goal square. Casey Sheriff just wrenched the football free. We'll get a ball up at the top of the goal square. The Hawks into attack.
Opportunity lost there for the Hawks. Just a fumble at a crucial time.
Chance here from the stoppage. Bates taken down by Meg McDonald. Ball jarred free. Umpires said Bates released it legally. Meg McDonald on the up there to Casey, trying to get it to Hogg, who was bundled off it. Well done, Kendall. Tried to nick it out to Horn, who was dispossessed. Lehman wrapped up and taken down. Horn will get another go. She's had a bit of it early. Contours the boundary line. Bangs it towards the goal square. Not quite a mark there again from Sheriff, and Lily Johnson will take it away. Early moments for the defenders of the Demons to get their hands on the football as Tamara Smith kicks it very, very wide. It's been kept in. Rigoni linking it up with Lily Johnson, who goes to the outer side. Darcy attacked it well and got the spoil in. And then it sits kindly for Zoe Mitchell, who had her kick partially smothered and then out of bounds, and we'll get a boundary throw in on the outer side.
Fantastic commitment in the air by Darcy then. That was looking all ends up like a repeat forward 50 entry for the Hawks, but came with power at the end of that. Jazzy Fleming already with 3 possessions. Brent, she's right amongst it early.
Has been in amongst the rising star as well in her first 2 seasons of AFLW football at the Hawks. She pounces onto this one and turns inboard. There's risk in the kick, but attacking it was McClendon. Took the mark and then was tackled, and the umpire calls her back on her mark and says it is indeed a mark. And so McClendon gets her head up and has a good look into the corridor and went looking for Bates. Getting in front and dropping the mark, and then eventually dragged off the kick was Sammy Johnson. Hawks with numbers to the honeypot here. Has been a free kick. Another one for holding on, and the free kick will go the way of Shree Fairchild, Casey's best and fairest winner last season. Yeah,
taken to ground for a long time after disposing of that footy, so the kick was there. Good use short.
Game number 60 for Fairchild. Didn't go 15 metres, so put a teammate under the pump. Right in the middle of Casey Fields, we fight for it. Fairchild fighting her own teammate McDonald for the football. She's wrapped up in a strong tackle there. Right in the middle of the ground still. Casey don't have a great record over Box Hill. They've only beaten them once in 5 or 6 contests. And Box Hill beat them twice last year, including out in Wonthaggi, as there's a free kick going the way of Casey. Casey, player and the team. She finds O'Neill on the bounce, sends the Demons into the attacking zone for the first time today. The mark out in front was dropped by Tegan Williams. O'Neill back onto the football. She's got a long penetrating left boot, and it's accurate as well, and out of the goal square comes Sarah Darcy.
Yeah, terrific craft by Darcy then to read the ball off the boot. But O'Neill with a couple of entries, repeat efforts there, and Casey get the opportunity to open the scoring just over 4 minutes into this game.
So Sarah Darcy comes to the Demons after being delisted by Richmond. Played 47 AFLW games for Collingwood and Richmond. Shouldn't really test her here. Darcy goes back and slots it. Good start for the Demons. All that defending they did in the early minutes. 1 entry, 1 goal, and the Demons are away 1 straight 6. They lead Box Hill yet to score.
Yeah, you've summed that up well. Brent. There was intense pressure from Box Hill through the first 3.5 minutes. The ball was camped inside 50. They had a couple of opportunities to convert from in front of goal, but unfortunately they weren't clean with their ball handling. And Casey, as you mentioned, in their first foray forward, have been able to convert very well, and Box Hill will rue those missed efforts early.
So this is the 7th meeting between these two. Box Hill 5-1. Their average winning margin is 33 points, so haven't been particularly close. From the centre we go again. Bates is in there, dragging down Samantha Johnson. Last time she was here with Casey, she was the captain. Her last game for the Demons was the preliminary final of season 2022 when the Demons went down to the Saints. Here come the Hawks on a fast break. Cattle got the handball from Bates and bangs the Hawks into the 50. Tamara Luke is back there, couldn't hold on to the mark, but then got taken high. Probably only just outside her range there. She's passed it on to Jazzy Fleming, who with disposal number 5 kicks a behind. And an opportunity there lost for the Hawks as it drifted away to the left. A very difficult end to try and kick goals, that one here at Casey Fields.
Yeah, it is. The wind is going directly across the ground. I think we're going to see a lot of play on the far side of the ground. But Jazzy Fleming, her speed and spread from the contest is standing out already.
From the kick in, the Demons will play the outer side. Ball comes to the foot of the pack and they fight for it underneath. Bates just picked it up and ran off. Turns into the pocket, a nice looking kick, and getting out after it and sliding on in and taking the mark for the Hawks out there is Jess Matten, who was delisted by St Kilda. So both teams with plenty of players that are looking this season to put themselves back in the shop window and get another opportunity.
Absolutely. This kick will be into the wind, so we'll test the accuracy here. The ball drop needs to be spot on or that wind will take some effect.
Tucked away right in the left forward pocket. Won't score, but it'll hit a good spot. And just about reeling in the terrific contested mark in the goal square is Tamara Luke. And here comes Box Hill's first goal of the season, you would imagine.
Yeah, terrific use of the body there. 2 movements then to force the player in front under the ball as she converts there. What a great start. So the 2 movements, got the player in front, then back into her opponent, and then the strong dukes overhead. That's a fantastic conversion.
Tamara Luke in her 60th VFLW game, kicks goal number 30, retired from the AFLW, was there for a little while at the Hawks. She's one of many players that has had to overcome some adversity in her career. I think she did her ACL in her 2nd game for the Hawks, or 3rd game it might have been. And back now it's Box Hill. What a wonderful thing that is for the Hawks to have her back with that leadership and great character that she has. Kicks the Hawks' first goal of the season and then puts herself into the ruck. She'll be beaten to it by Swain, who was in the top 3 for hit-outs in the VFLW last season. 195 centimetres. She must be the tallest player in the Rebel VFL Women's this season. We didn't get too far from the stoppage.
Imposing figure in those ruck contests. You see it there that causes the engagement from her opponent. Now goes forward.
Left foot kick. She dabs it down towards half forward. It was well read though by Jenna Richardson. Just worked Tegan Williams under the footy. Richardson short and wide. Hawks happy to look after the football here. This is Van Berkel. He goes out wider still, and sliding in to take the mark is Gabby Collingwood. Speaking of players that have overcome ACL injuries, it was like 600 days between games for the former Brisbane AFLW player. Multiple ACL surgeries. Her kick goes to the wing. Handball came out the side to Bates, who goes past Joanna Lynn. Handball to Luke, and now back to Emily Bates. And this is good link-up play from the Hawks. Bates goes down towards the top of the 50, where there's a wonderful mark taken by Sheriff. Off to Eliza West. Thought about the handball over the top, and instead, all alone at the top of the goal square is Mietta Kendall. Wonderful play from the stoppage in the middle of the ground from Box Hill.
Yeah, terrific ball movement. That's the 2nd time Bates has laced out someone inside forward 50, and then the quick movement. Cherie Fairchild was tasked with manning 2 opponents.
Kendall pops it through. She kicked a goal in each game against Casey last season. Of course, used to play for Casey when she was on Melbourne's AFLW list. This has been a good response from the Hawks after all the early running that they had. They did concede the first, but it's 2 in a row to Luke and now Mietta Kendall. And the Hawks go to 2-1-13, leading the Demons 1 straight 6, approaching the halfway stages of the opening quarter. Here's Mick O'Neill.
Yeah, the ball movement off half-back from the Hawks then was fantastic. They were patient early, going laterally to find a teammate in space, and then it was the quick movement through the forward half of the ground that in the end left the Casey Demons defenders outnumbered and a simple conversion over the top.
So Emily Bates up to 6 disposals, Fleming with 5. You can track all the stats and watch all the replays as well on the website and the AFL Live app as well. Fleming went bursting out of the middle. Here's another chance here for Matten. Turns on to the left. It's a bouncing ball. Kendall tried to soccer it through, and instead she just left it there for her teammates, who kicked it from about 2 metres out, and the Hawks have kicked 3 quick consecutive goals. That might have been, was that Lucy Wales, I think, that might have kicked that goal? I stand to be corrected. In fact, it was Anya McDonough who helped herself to a goal from only a couple of metres out. Hawthorn race out to a 13-point lead. Box Hill, I should say.
Yeah, Fleming out of the middle again. Any time you can get out the front of a centre square stoppage, and she was able to burst through, take a bounce. Once the ball got over the back, the Hawks players were in best position. A bit of a scramble at the goal mouth. I thought that left foot snap was going to bounce through, but again, a fairly simple conversion from only a few metres out.
We're starting to see probably what we expected to see coming to this match today. The Hawks, AFLW listed players having a big say. Well, Fleming's been caught there holding the ball after she received the handball from West.
Good tackle by Lynn. Fleming should have just kept driving the legs forward then.
Delisted from Collingwood in the off-season, goes looking to the outer side. Williams led Van Berkel to the football. Van Berkel didn't give up the chase though, dispossessed her. Ball goes straight back into dispute on the outer side, and the umpire sweeps his arms and says holding the ball, and he penalises Caitlin Thorne. It's a free kick on the outer side.
Tough position once you're caught under the ball there. Risky kick into the middle here.
Yeah, not a great one. That come from Gemma Proy. Put it right back into the middle of the ground. They've done that a couple of times now, Casey, where they've got the football on that outer wing, tried to bite off that kick into the corridor. Perhaps an instruction from their new head coach, Matt Brewer. Both of these teams actually go into 2024 with new coaches. Brewer for the Demons and Michael Erickson for Box Hill. It takes over from Sheree O'Neill. Brewer, the coach for the Demons. You might remember Mick, premiership captain for Box Hill back in 2001.
Good player. Played forward of centre, if I remember correctly. But very neat player at the level. I like what Joanna Lynn's doing here. Fleming's the dangerous midfielder for the Hawks, and she's just standing a bit closer at these stoppages, although Fleming will get this one.
Just lost her footing, which didn't help her cause. Flicked out a little handball to her teammate, put her right under the pump. Down goes Lehman. Good pressure around the footy. Umpire's working overtime. We need another stoppage. Just forward of centre here for the Demons, who did kick the first goal of the game. Swain just upended Luke in the ruck. Handball from Thorne, Smith. Well, now Fleming's turned it over, though Swain couldn't get a handle on it and then was taken down without the footy. She'll take her kick anyway. I mentioned her a moment ago. Big ruckman for the Demons. She's from South Australia originally. Come over from West Adelaide.
Already had the 5 hit-outs, showing her dominance.
Had 52 hit-outs in one of the matchups between these two last season. That's a nice-looking kick. Looked for all money like Zoe Mitchell was going to find the ball drop. Hawks defenders combine well, and then swooping onto it was Smith. Links it up by hand with Van Berkel. And Tamara Smith runs through left half back for the Hawks. Ran a long way before eventually popping the handball over the top. Hawks get it towards centre wing, and doesn't look like they're going to get any further as Casey kicks into the middle right over the head of Joanna Lynn. That opened the door for Cattle, who gave it to Fleming, who takes off and sends the Hawks back into the 50 again. Great body use from Kirsty Stratton. Get onto the loose ball. Gave a handball to Kendall, and Kendall's going to help herself to her second. Great footy once again from Box Hill.
Textbook forward play there. You called the body work, was just fantastic. Good depth on the kick from Fleming. Gave her forward teammate the opportunity. Just had to body up. The ball was going to go over the back. And really clever use of the hands to allow Box Hill to convert their 4th goal. I was about to say, Brent, that Casey have sort of tightened up around the contest and stopped Box Hill from getting out the front. But we see again after 3 or 4 minutes of good defence from Casey, Fleming was the one again who got goal side of the pack. And once she gets it and goes, she's a 50, 60 metre territory player. The ball gets over the back, and then it's just a matter of converting, picking the right option for Box Hill.
7 clearances to 4 in favour of the Hawks, but they've had a few where they have just walked out of the middle and looked so dangerous. Fleming trying to get on the end of the Bates handball. Goes back looking for Wales. Cutting the angle well there was Lehman. Ultimately went without the football, then jumps back into the pack to apply the tackle.
Fleming up to 10 possessions already. Brent just dominating out here. Bates with 6.
It looks like Fleming has a different opponent now. Johnson has gone to her. Working a little kick out of there was Yatchak of the Demons. Bates in to apply the tackle on Lehman. Fleming gets another disposal. Kicked it as far as she could while she was falling backwards. Crunched in there was Caitlin Thorne. Gee, holding the ball, said the umpire. That's a hot call, a free kick going the way of Samantha Johnson.
Got to pick the option correctly here. They've been going into the middle for risky kicks early.
Short again. Right in the middle of Casey Fields is Sophie. Casey asks a lot of Fairchild. Oh, well done, Casey Sheriff. Knocked it away. And Matten sends the Hawks to half forward. A beautiful kick. McDonough the handball to Stratton. Stratton sees an open goal square. Didn't make great contact with the kick, and the Demons let off the hook.
Yeah, once again, it's a risky kick from Casey through the middle of the ground. It was a terrific effort from Fairchild, showing courage to contest that, but it left them exposed at the back. And only for poor conversion then. That would have been Box Hill's 5th goal. And the 3rd or 4th getting out the back of the Casey defence.
He would have backed Stratton to kick that one. She's a known commodity at this level. Lily Johnson with the kick in. Again, they play the outer side. And again, they turn it over. It's in the hands of Casey Sheriff, who swings onto that right boot and goes looking for Stratton. Hogg did well to bring it to ground, but it's all brown and gold. McDonough from the pocket was bumped as she kicked. And that probably saved a certain goal because Luke was lurking on the goal line.
Yeah, well done to Melanie Hogg there for a great defensive spoil. I'm informed today's her last game for the Casey VFLW team before she moves to London. So there was a guard of honour before the game, Brent, just to honour her contribution to the club.
Game number 54 will be her last. Came to one of the training and scouting days that they had here at Casey Fields a few years ago. And has been a fine player. I know they have a league in London. I wonder if she might pull on the boots anyway out there.
Be a highly sought-after recruit, I would imagine.
Yes. Casey have had issues getting it out of their defensive 50 here.
Get some relief here, which they need to just settle down a little bit, be conservative with their ball use coming out of this back defensive position.
Free kick for Lily Johnson in the back pocket. Short again is the way out. Mark taken by Rigoni on that left foot.
Good hands.
Brilliant from Lucy Wales. Stuck out the one hand and reeled it in. Handballed it off to the running Fleming, who will try and get it back from Bates. Bates slipped the tackle. Hurried left foot kick into the 50. And once again, the Hawks players leading their opponents up to the football. The blind turn from Sheriff, round the body, and it's a 5-goal opening quarter for Box Hill.
Geez, I love that move from Sheriff. It was a blind turn, but turned the shoulders on the inside. Completely duped the Casey defender, and then a good conversion there. That's a highlight goal in the first round of the year.
Well, their best quarter last season for the Hawks. They kicked 4 goals straight in the final quarter against Casey in round 13. And this is an opening quarter littered with Smithy's snags. 5 of them now for Box Hill. 5 in a row, of course, after Casey struck first through Sarah Darcy.
Fleming and Bates have combined for 20 possessions.
That's a problem. That is a problem.
As we tick over 18 and a half minutes, they're just dominant through the middle of the ground. Sure ball handling and speed with their legs, standing out all over the ground here.
Just got to try and get their hands on the football around the coalface here, the Demons. Across comes Sophie Casey. Toe poke earns a little bit of territory. Onto it was Smith. Wearing her like a glove was Lehman. They fight for it on the outer wing. Yatchak left it behind. Well, as did, might have been Cattle, couldn't link up the handball there. Onto it is Yatchak. Handball to Morris on debut for the Demons. Kicks towards Casey one-on-one, or Darcy I should say, but brilliant from Richardson. Bites off an aggressive kick towards Fleming. In with the spoil came Meg McDonald. Fleming tried to escape and then was caught holding the ball.
Darcy down behind play here. Got a trainer out. Umpire will just hold play up here while there's an injured player in the vicinity.
Yeah, so that was in that marking contest with Richardson, I think. Back up on her feet now. Medical people from the the bench on the near side have meandered their way over, but I think Darcy is going to save them the trip and she's going to come from the ground. Meantime, having a kick smothered there was Sophie Casey. Will get it back by hand. She was immediately under pressure. Dispossessed. Umpire says play on. Fleming's underneath this one for the Hawks. Rigoni trying hard. Jack picked it up and kicked the Demons into the 50. Meanwhile, Sarah Darcy makes her way slowly to the bench. And that'll do us for a blistering opening quarter here. As far as Box Hill are concerned, they did concede the first goal of the match. And then they went bang times 5, and Casey then missed her. Followed up her own work. Casey eventually got a little handball to O'Neill. Her handball was indiscriminate and then was forced to apply the tackle, which has actually been penalised for in the back. It might have been Meg McDonald in there, in fact. And so for disposal number 13, Jazzy Fleming goes long to the outer side. Sammy Johnson of the Demons lost her footing. Desperate to keep away from Emily Bates, and she couldn't do it. And here they go again with that handball play. Getting involved was Collingwood. Knocked back to her by Hipwell. Taking on all comers. Van Berkel as well. Collingwood overran it. Meg McDonald, everything's under pressure and really, really tough at the moment for the Demons. We've got a scrimmage on the outer side. I thought we were going to get a ball up. It popped out the last. Rigoni stuck her head over the loose football. She's wrapped up by Anya McDonough, who was one of the Hawks' 5 goal kickers in that first quarter.
Just again, Bates, the clean ball handling was just such a feature of that passage of play.
You're streaming, or tuning into this stream, I should say, on afl.com.au and the AFL official live app. We've got all the men's and women's games for you this year with commentary live and, best of all, as far as Mick O'Neill is concerned, for free.
Free kick number 2 coming up here for Box Hill. They actually trail 10-2 in the free kicks, Brent. Speaking
of free, kick into the 50 for the Hawks. Lily Johnson, who had plenty of work to do in the back line for the Demons in the first quarter, takes an intercept mark.
We'll see if their ball movement's a little bit more conservative, and it is on this occasion, might still turn over.
Yes, setting herself there, but spilling the mark was Casey Sheriff. Bailed out by her teammate over there in McClendon, who's holding on to Fairchild, who had the football for too long and didn't get rid of it, says the umpire. And so they've already had more free kicks in the opening 2 minutes of this quarter than they had in the first. Box Hill, so strange, they had more of the disposals and yet 1 free kick to Casey's 10. They go towards half forward. Hipwell not in great position. Won it on the boundary line and then coughed it up to Fairchild. It was a handball in hope that it'll come unstuck. West was buffeted off it. Bates is in amongst it. Just outside 50. Tyler Byrne is in amongst it as well. We'll get a stoppage.
This handball game of the Box Hill Hawks is so prominent. It almost got a look of, you know, the Western Bulldogs and the handball club stuff that they worked on for a number of years. They're just so confident in getting their hands free in the contest, the Box Hill players, and finding a teammate as we get a blood rule here, which will have a pause in play.
Yeah, Lucy Wales coming from the ground. We remind you, these are the only instances in which we get time off in the VFLW. They're 20-minute flat quarters, time off only for a serious incident or a blood rule. So Lucy Wales comes off, and on comes Jess Matten.
Been impressed with O'Neill for the Casey Demons. She's been competitive in all her marking contests up forward for Casey.
Another free kick pulled out here going the Hawks' way.
Must have been listening to the commentary, Brent.
Or they might have checked out the stats on the AFL official live app. They're starting to get them now. Kick inside 50. McDonald is there watching on for the Demons. Comes out the way of Yatchak, but the bounce favoured Tamara Luke. Hurry kick down towards full forward. Meg McDonald fills the hole and spreads it across the last line. And here is Mel Hogg in her final game in the red and blue, unreliably informed. Finds Morris. Played on when she probably shouldn't have. Handball out in front of Rigoni, who fumbled it. And the Hawks' pressure is too much. Richardson gets it back to West, who sends a flat left foot kick into the 50. It comes to ground. Matten goes after it. A couple of Demons jump on her. She'll be knocked off if she doesn't get it out. And she doesn't.
Got a fist in late, McDonough, a defensive spoil as a forward. As Casey get the free kick here, but managed to give themselves another opportunity at ground level when it looked like it was going to be an intercept mark.
Well, McDonald about to be caught blindsided, bumped and then tackled, ball jarred free, should have been holding the ball and wasn't, and now Fairchild has been penalised regardless, and so Hawks get the free kick that they'll think they should have gotten anyway. Strange decision there to bump and not tackle.
Yeah, it was a free kick waiting to be had if she'll get this anyway.
A brilliant kick from Matten to find Christy Stratton.
Yeah. Just caught unawares by the play-on call from the umpire, and Stratton came in with a big bump, upended her opponent, but just needed to wrap her up to get the free kick. But she ends up in a better position here, and you'd back her in to convert from here, Brent.
Played in just the one VFLW game last season. Played in all 10 for Hawthorn at AFLW level. Kicked it behind in the first quarter. Just away to the right, as you can see. Normally knows where the goals are at this level, and that one holds the line. It's 6 Smithy snags in a row for the Hawks. And it feels like an age ago now when Casey kicked the first goal of the match. 6 in a row for the Brown and Gold, 6-3-39. And Casey has stranded on one straight 6, and the margin stretches to 33. 5.5 gone in the second term.
Yeah, we mentioned before the game that the AFL talent on display for Box Hill versus Casey, and there's just a general advantage across the ground here for Box Hill in all facets of the game, and it's really starting to show out. We saw on the wing in front of us, Casey had the opportunity to slow the game down, played on, got tackled, and that's where Box Hill are showing out. Their pressure around the ball, and then the ability to move forward with clean skills has been so impressive as Bates gets it again.
Breaks through 2 tackles, if you don't mind, and then turns on to the left. It came off the side of the boot, but it worked perfectly. Kendall set herself and took the mark. Played on and ran herself into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Eventually the kick goes into the 50. Coming out after it's Lily Johnson. Gathers it eventually. Handball straight back into congestion. A chance here for Rosie Dillon, who's been quiet. Her handball found her teammate, who was held on to without it. The free kicks are coming thick and fast now for the Hawks. Free kick here for Gabby Collingwood, 35 metres out from goal.
Yeah, an easy one for the umpire to call there. Jumper being held for a long time after disposing. Let's see what they do here. Plenty of space for the forwards to lead into.
Kicked one of the most famous goals of last season, Gabby Collingwood, on return for ACL injury. A goal after the siren for the Hawks to beat the Blues at Box Hill City Oval.
Wait for the late lead here. There we go.
Yeah, it pops open. It's looking for, and will not quite find him, McDonough, but she got an arm chop. And a free kick. It's Bridie Hipwell, in fact. Another free kick for the Hawks. 25 metres out.
It's really like Collingwood's patience then. She had 2 or 3 goes where she assessed the forwards' leads, but they kept moving the Box Hill Hawk forwards.
It's probably the best thing Collingwood's done all season.
That's
Here's
true.
a chance for Bridie Hipwell to make it 7 in a row for the Hawks, and Bridie misses. And she knows she might have done better there.
But I really do like that patience with the forwards. They have multiple leads as Casey bring the ball out here, and the retiring Melanie Hogg gets the ball.
Helicopters one out of the 50. Just carried Lucy Wales, who come back and gathered on the bounce. Solid tackle from Samantha Johnson. And the Demons are forced to settle for a ball up in neutral territory.
They must be tight here around this contest.
Swain and Wales. You don't see Lucy Wales outsized in the ruck too often. Comes out her way. Handball to Bates, who was just left alone out the front of the stoppage. Kicks long down towards full forward. It got out the back. Rigoni picked it up. Managed to somehow escape the tackle. She is quick, Gemma Rigoni. Put the kick out in front of Morris. Rigoni will run on. Morris decides to put it on the boots. Went over the head of the initial contest, I should say. And then Sophie Casey turned it over. Richardson got onto the loose ball. Kicks it wide to the outer side. Reacting first for the Hawks was Cattle, and now on to Collingwood.
Numbers everywhere here.
Yeah, kicking forward to Tamara Smith. Just looked far more assured with ball in hand. Oh, having said that, dangerous kicking board. Richardson takes the mark, then takes off. Sliding in awkwardly there was McDonough. Handball came to Kendall. Spots Cattle, but ball didn't want to play ball. It bounced away from her. It's come back to Kendall. They're going backwards here, the Hawks, but they've got the numbers. It settles with Collingwood. Kick down towards full forward. Hipwell had to come from behind and spoil. Handball on the up to West, who is a left footer. Round the body. That is a lovely Smithy snag. What a finish. And that just felt like that was coming.
Yeah, it was clinical in the end from Box Hill as a team. We saw a risky kick through the middle of the ground. We thought Casey had a chance to intercept. But some good competitive work in the air from the Box Hill key forwards and then they got to work at ground level, and in the end, that's a fantastic conversion on the left foot. We go 7 consecutive goals. I'll just take you back to the stoppage at half forward. Before Brent, you saw Emily Bates keep her space from the stoppage. The Casey Demons players all sucked into the contest and just left the Box Hill player out on their own out the back. And it's very hard to defend when, you know, the modern vernacular is your shoulders out running into your forward line. It's very hard to defend when those easy inside 50s.
Well, there might have been a couple of Demon players in that contest that were maybe gambling that they were going to win it. I'm not sure they can really afford to gamble at the moment. They're getting smashed around the contests. We're in the middle again with the Hawks leading by 40 points. The Demons scrap it forward. Another free kick for too high. Umpire, well, I was going to say another one for the Hawks. The umpire pointed the wrong way initially. It's going the way of Joanna Lynn. The Demons are going to get their first inside 50 of the quarter here, as long as Lynn doesn't kick it into the player on the mark, and she doesn't. Oh, that didn't last long. Hawks with numbers queuing up at half-back. Here's Eliza West. Handball over the top from Fleming and back to West. Hawthorn using the corridor. Westby is inside. She's hunted and captured and caught holding the ball. Well done, Meg McDonald.
Fantastic effort there. Could have given up on the chase, but she didn't. Gets a reward with the ball going forward.
Oh, kicks found Sophie Casey on the bounce. She didn't expect it. Handball to Neve O'Neill. The Demons go back into the 50. Falling over herself, the Hawthorn defender. It's gathered there by Thorne. Kick comes out towards Stratton, who's got Fairchild for company. Good work in there by Byrne. Slung dangerously by Stratton. Byrne didn't like it. Rightly so, but she's got to be careful that she doesn't give this one away, Tyler Byrne. Just go back and take the kick.
Take her time here. They're outnumbered on the skinny side here, Casey.
19-year-old from South Belgrave. Oh, it went over the initial pack and flooded and sputtered its way all the way onto the chest of Tegan Williams, who says, for Christ's sake, just let me go back and try and kick this one and break the tide.
Absolutely. Good patience with the ball then by Byrne. If she had gone quickly, there was Box Hill defenders everywhere. Distance will be a challenge here for Williams.
She's got a pretty big boot on her. She gives it a ride. Started on line, but just drifting away to the left. Did have the carry in the end. It's a behind for the Demons, 1-1-7, Box Hill 7-4-46.
You're looking for the positives for the Casey Demons in their last minute and a half. They've had 3 inside 50s. Doing much better.
Hawks from the kick in decide to bring it to the near side. After the football is Spammer, who is going to get a free kick for a push in the back. Right at half back here for Box Hill, who have kicked the last 7 goals of the game. Dangerous kick looking for Luke. Couldn't mark. Fleming's there. Handball out the side looking for Bates. What a pickup. And a brilliant blind turn. Handball left a bit to be desired. It was telegraphed by Casey. Handballed it into the 50. Sheeran couldn't win it. Look at all the Hawks numbers. Come back to Spammer. Whacks it on the boot. Smothered. Johnson in there for the Demons. A pack forms quickly. We'll need a ball up. Oh, no, holding the ball, says the umpire.
We're red hot on that today.
I thought a player from either equation jumped on that. It's a free kick going the way of the Demons. Samantha Johnson, centering kick. Oh, it found Yatchak. She didn't expect it to get to her, so she spilt the mark. And then handballed straight to Wales, who tried to get it to Fleming. Wrapped up and dispossessed. And that's not holding the ball. Down goes Big Lauren Yatchak. And a free kick by the non-officiating umpire. Free kick going the way of Emily Bates.
Yeah, called for too high there. Bates will come in for possession, number 14. Fleming at 15.
Running through half-back, Jazzy Fleming. Kicks to the centre wing. Stratton takes the mark. You've got to keep her eye on the football. Back to Fleming, who will take on Sophie Casey. Kicks out wide there. Tamara Smith will get out onto it for the Hawks. Olivia Morris in pursuit. Well done there by Smith. Won the football and then spotted her teammate up the line. It's Thorne. Still too far out to score. This has been great ball movement from the Hawks. Matten at right half forward. Down towards full forward. Stratton, how quickly did she get to full forward? Brilliant play from the Hawks.
I've actually been watching her off the ball. Her work rate as she goes inside looking for a teammate. It's intercepted this occasion. Gemma Proy.
Disappointing because that was a great build-up there from the Hawks and all of that gut running just to turn it over. Might work out okay. She got it from West. Swings onto the left and sneaks it in. Not how they drew it up, but it's a goal all the same.
Yeah, if you had an ISO camera on Stratton on that occasion, you would have seen a mark on the centre wing, gave the ball off to Jazzy Fleming, and then she just put the hammer down and ran her opponent ragged going into forward 50, and then the composure and the ability to finish on the lead some 120 metres away and take the mark, eventually rewarded with the goal. There was a bit of a turnover from the kick inside, but just so impressive the work rate from Christy Stratton. And Brent, you look at the scoreboard, 8 goals in a row for Box Hill Hawks. It's an early call, but the standard of play has certainly risen this year in the opening round.
Yeah, absolutely. Hawks have put them to the sword in the first half. Stratton has her second goal. If you are a fan of Hawthorn and Box Hill, this is what you're going to be treated to. Sign up, get behind them by getting a VFLW team membership in 2024. Head to the VFL website for all club membership details. Casey fans sign up as well. There'll be better days for the Demons, no doubt. We expect them to be back in contention again, as there's a free kick here for Emma Horn.
More AFLW players for Casey playing next week.
Yep. Or
Melbourne AFLW players, I should say. That's a bit of a scoop for our listeners.
Good defensive mark taken back there by, I think that might have been McClendon. And the Hawks move it on to half back. Kicking ball looking for Hipwell, who's come a long way up the ground. Trying to wrestle it free. Meg McDonald, hospital handball for Hogg. Did well to slip the tackle. Rigoni's left foot tumbling ball in towards half forward. Well done there. That might have been Richardson, and then to Fleming.
Look at Stratton's running power again. If she gets this ball here, they're going to go over the top to Stratton.
Yeah, Kendall just had to gather cleanly, and she couldn't. Ball up for grabs on the outer side. Fairchild's handball a little hot. Stratton gets the football. It was a little indiscriminate. Goes back in to apply the tackle. Umpire had a really good look before calling.
No, it's the second time we mention it, but Stratton's running power, I'm getting tired almost watching it. It's so impressive.
It's wonderful to see the AFLW listed players come back to this level and still have that appetite to do that sort of thing. Hawks going forward again. Hipwell and Rigoni comes to the front of the contest. Was gathered by Fleming. Put it out into the path of Anya McDonough.
I mean, what a great example if you're a Box Hill Hawk developing forward and you get to see up close that level of work rate that's required to succeed at the highest level. What's so good is she does it without reward at times. It's just a matter of repetition until the ball finally falls her way.
Luke couldn't quite take that one out of the ruck for the Hawks. Yatchak had a chance. Here's Stratton again, who will be rewarded. Wrapped up Shree Fairchild. The umpire said Fairchild had the opportunity to get rid of it and didn't. And Stratton is pointing to the stick. She's going to line up for number 3, all in this second term. She
might be doing that so she gets a 30-second rest, Brent, given her work rate. But just to touch again, as we go short here.
Doing the team thing again.
Beautiful.
And this time it was the right option, and coming out and taking the mark is Bridie Hipwell. And those two, Stratton and Hipwell, linking up. Not for the first time and perhaps not the last. Yeah,
and again we see the patience of the Hawks when they have the ball at 50 to 40 metres out, not going for the first lead. That's the second time we've seen the patient build up. Casey Demons defenders need to be aware of that going forward.
Missed one early in the quarter from about this distance and doesn't make the same mistake twice. She does. Boy, that one's just missed. 2 behind. So Bridie Hipwell. 8-5-53 the Hawks. Could have been a bit worse. The Demons 1-1-7 as we head for half-time at Casey Fields.
6 individual goal kickers for Box Hill, so the good spread of scoring in this first half. Jazzy Fleming, 19 possessions.
Hogg in the back pocket. Darcy came from the back, brought it to ground. Yatchak fired out the handball. Darcy trying to tidy it all up. Yatchak goes to ground and received quite a bit of attention when she was there. 181 centimetre, 19-year-old Lauren Yatchak from the Northern Knights. Played a handful of VFLW games last season with Darebin. Northern Suburbs girl.
It's good to see Sarah Darcy out there competing as well. She came off at quarter time to get some treatment, but throwing herself back into the fray.
into the final minute of the second quarter. There's another free kick pulled out here. This one's going the way of the Demons. It's a quarter in which the Hawks have kicked 3 goals, 2, and the Demons have kicked just 1 behind. At the stretch, trying to mark, but couldn't there was McClendon. Handball came out the back to Smith. Time for one more for the Hawks if they're good enough and clean enough. Popped out the way of Thorne. A free kick off the ball here. Going the way of Fleming, is it? They're pointing.
This will be possession number 20. No, it won't be. She might get a handball, though.
Well, that handball won't count. It was back to Caitlin Thorne. Give it to Jazzy Fleming. No, she doesn't. She goes bang into the 50. The Hawks need a mark. Tamara Luke was there. Stratton was in front of her. They put one another off. Kendall dragged off the kick. And time runs out for Box Hill. But they did plenty of damage in that first half. A 5-goal opening quarter. A 3-goal second term. And at half-time...
Jasmine Fleming with 19 possessions. Emily Bates with the 14 possessions are both standouts on the day. For the Casey Demons, Sophie Casey has had 11 disposals.
So the Hawks are on their way to their first win of the season. How bad does it get for the Demons? Fleming picks up where she left off in the opening half. Possession number 20 is a centre clearance. Errant kick going forward. It's captured by Rigoni, who's one of just 2 AFLW listed players for the Demons. Good mark there by McDonald. Just did well to clear the head of the umpire, who was frantically trying to get out of the way. Morris links it up with Meg McDonald and then back to young Olivia Morris on VFLW debut this afternoon, or this morning this afternoon. Back in dispute on the wing. Darcy the diving handball. And Sophie Casey is all wrapped up in a stoppage. Centre wing out of side. Just quickly, the other winners across the weekend. The Southern Saints beat Collingwood back on Friday night. Port Melbourne did a bit of a number on the Bombers, reigning premiers, of course, the Borough. Carlton got a good win down the highway in Geelong. North Melbourne are on the board. They beat the Doggies. And then Williamstown, the biggest win of the weekend over the Dogs.
3 bounces here for Fleming. Goes long. Chance for Box Hill to run onto this. Might be a goal inside for Stratton. What a fantastic piece of play, Brent, as we were going through the scores. That was scintillating ball movement through the middle of the ground. And again, it was the Bates-Fleming 1-2 combination through the middle of the ground. Everyone got on their skates for the Box Hill Hawks. 3 bounces from Jasmine Fleming and a very good kick to advantage over the top. And again, that cohesiveness of the Hawks forwards, they get another goal from close in.
Bridie Hipwell it was who got the walk-in goal, but great play as well again from Stratton. How selfless has she been in this match? Not just to pass off opportunities, but your gut running as well. I mean, there's an element of selflessness in that also, to get yourself into positions for your team when you know that you might not be the one to kick the goal, but you've got to get there anyway. Otherwise, if you're missing that link, the whole thing might break down. Yeah,
and it puts pressure on the opponent's defenders as to which option do they go to as Fleming gets the ball again out of the middle of the ground.
Yeah, Lynn looks like she's trying to go to Fleming. Bates gets involved, delayed the handball for West, ran into a little bit of trouble, back to Bates, trying to slip the tackle. She's been pretty good at doing that today. Casey say, you can beat us 10 times, but not 11. Wrap her up right in the middle.
Good tackle in the end. Eliza West, obviously such a strong body, able to stand up in tackles.
Sophie Casey drives it into the 50. Oh, good mark taken right in the middle of the pack. I thought Yatchak was going to get to that one, but Darcy holds on to it, swings on to the left, and it just breaks the fingertips of India Lehman, who's one of only 2 players out there that hasn't touched the footy. Handball from Jenna Richardson. Fleming couldn't pick it up, but she'll receive it anyway. And turns onto the boots. Oh, well read by Rigoni. Cut across in front of McDonough and then undid her good work by dropping the mark. It's out of play.
She's been good today, Rigoni, in the top 2 or 3 players, I imagine, for Casey. And I just like how she attacked the footy on that occasion. She's
a freak athlete, Gemma Rigoni. Tested really well at the Combine last year. Has elite speed. When I watched her last year in the VFLW, one thing I was very impressed by was her ability to mark the football above her head. You might not think that after she dropped that one, but it is one thing that she's quite good at. Fairchild hunting the loose football, trying to get Casey going in the middle. Eventually she's got it. Now she's got by Collingwood. Oh, the umpire was on the wrong side of the pack. It should have been holding the ball. Instead it's a ball up. How will they be looking at this second half, the Demons and their coach, Matt Brewer?
Well, I think both sides would have had contrasting messages. They'd just be looking for development, I imagine, the Casey players. There's almost, and speaking to some non-playing Casey players, there's an acknowledgement of the wealth of talent that Box Hill have on the field today. So then it's about just learning and gaining that experience of playing on these elite AFLW players as the ball again goes over the back here.
Oh, how about the speed there of McDonough? And then on the outside of the boot, didn't quite find Stratton. Might have a chance to get back onto it. Handball to Matten. She was under pressure as she got the kick. It goes to the goal square. Hogg, an outstanding mark with 2 Hawks closing quickly. That's the mark of the day.
Absolutely. And we've mentioned how today's her final VFLW game. She's making a really good fist of her final performance here.
Oh, she's gone right up the middle. 2 Hawks have collided. Fleming was one. And the opponent that she crashed into, I think, was Thorne. She's come off worse for wear. Meantime, Swain kicks up the guts. What a mark from Yatchak. She's shown some
numbers
good signs.
Over the back here if they can get it.
They're out, the Demons. Taking the mark right on the paint of 50 is Darcy. She'll turn and look for O'Neill at full forward. It's just going to go out in front of her. Bounces and pitches inside. Lehman with the tackle, and the ball floats on out of bounds on the full. It's good forward pressure from the Demons.
Jenna Richardson just got a hand on that kick going inside then. Enough to delay and force another inside 50 from the Casey Demons here. You think this is going to be a set-up kick, you would imagine.
Yeah, they've got Yatchak in the goal square. Hawks with plenty of defensive reinforcements. Yatchak got a run and hands to it, couldn't hold on. And the clearing kick came away there from Lucy Wales. And to the outer side, again the Hawks have the numbers. Look out. Sheriff a little toe poke to her own advantage. Handball into the middle. Fleming is off and running. She'll give the handball to Dillon and back to Fleming. Look at this. Fleming goes to the paint of 50. Sees an open goal square. Rigoni getting back has dropped the mark on the last line. Might have enough time to tidy up and give the handball to Phillips. And Phillips with the kick out wide will find Hogg. And that's well done from Casey twice now on the last line of defence to sort their way out of a little jam, and now it's with Meg McDonald.
Yeah, and better ball movement coming out of their deep defensive areas to find a teammate. They'll find another one here in Yazjak. This is where they really have been falling down, is across half forward. And we see again. Sorry, Brent.
No, that's okay with their big frame in the way. It's Wales. It chips a little kicking board. Cattle, an aggressive handball to her teammate who just threw it on the boot. Sent the Hawks back inside 50, but the second intercept mark of the quarter for Mel Hogg.
Might be trying to convince her not to travel after this performance.
Broken up on the outer side by Zoe Mitchell, who was a soft one, held on to without the footy. Zoe Mitchell, who I don't think she was on Casey's list last season. I think she played her football back with Frankston, but has been on the list previously back in 2022, was recruited out of Hastings Footy Club originally. On to Fairchild, and then down the line, and Yatchak, another wonderful mark. Coming into the game in this third quarter, kicks towards half forward. Speaking of, Tamara Smith outpoints India Lehman.
Very good overhead mark, that one, and they're going to spread the ball again here through Fleming. She's got options laterally, and she does use the right one.
Yeah, it's Caitlin Thorne at half back. Running around the back, she did have an option, decides to put it on the boots. Hipwell's called into it. That's well done from Tamara Luke. Hipwell takes the mark on centre wing. Her captain said, it's all yours, just don't turn it over. And Bridie said, oh no, I've turned it over. Zoe Mitchell takes the mark on centre wing. All of a sudden it's the Hawks looking a little bit more untidy with the football, but it's going to help when Casey keep giving it back. It's a brave mark by Thorne with Lynn bearing down on her. 52 points the margin. 9-5-59 Box Hill. Casey 117. AFL.com.au and the AFL official live app as well. We've seen some wonderful overhead marks in this quarter. Wales this time. That's her second. Got Bates running around for the handball. Wrong foot's Fairchild. What a kick. That was a beauty. You knew from the moment that left the boot it was destined for Casey Sheriff, who probably should have been called to play on. After moving off her line, she does play on now and hits up Tamara Luke at the top of the goal square.
A really efficient ball use through the middle of the ground there. What I'm noticing, Brent, is with these good ball users like Fleming and Bates, the Hawks forwards are leading with confidence. They're just that step ahead of their opponents because they know if they lead to the right spot, as we see this conversion go through, they're going to be presented with the footy.
Luke kicks her second. The Hawks with 3 multiple goal kickers now and 10 in a row. 10-5, 65, and Casey 117 as we head for the midway stages of the third term.
And as soon as we saw Bates run around an opponent through the middle of the ground then it was just lining up to get on the end of the superb kick, which they did. Yeah, it is a long time ago, Brent, that Casey kicked the first goal. We're 9 minutes in to the third quarter, and it's 10 goals in a row to Box Hill. And it's been a really positive opening to the second half by both sides, I will say. Some great overhead marking, and we're seeing the running power of the Box Hill Hawks starting to come to the fore as players fatigue.
At the 4.5 minute mark of the first quarter, Sarah Darcy kicked that goal. Casey have kicked one behind since then. Box Hill have obviously kicked 10-5. I can't remember too many times where the Demons have had clear breaks out of the middle, and Box Hill must have had about a dozen. You can make it 13 almost now. Fleming flicked the handball for Bates. Bates will share it with her teammate. Right out the front of the stoppage they go. A little fend off on Johnson. Checked the kick beautifully. Great play from the middle once again from Box Hill, and this is Jess Matten who comes out on the lead to mark.
Yeah, we've spoken about the spread of talent Box Hill have got in their side today, but I'm really impressed with their system. They've got a number of unselfish midfielders and forwards, so as a forward, you run to the right spots, you know the ball's either going to be placed in front of you or a handball's going to be given. Good kick.
Looking to become their 8th goal kicker. Has it crossed the line? Oh, yes, it has. It might have been Rigoni on the goal line who couldn't stop it from going over. It looked mighty close from here, I must say. Jess Matten adds her name to the score sheet for the Hawks, and they've now got 8 individual goal kickers. It's 11 in a row.
And there's a real hunger about the way the Hawks are going about this. Again, we saw Bates holding her width at the stoppage, getting the handball over the top, and then she's just backing her legs to cover ground and then hitting options lace out inside forward 50. There's no letting up here from the Hawks. They just look hungry to add to the scoreboard every minute of this quarter. 27 possessions for Jasmine Fleming. They're impressive numbers in flat 20-minute quarters.
The champions are going to play right to the end. Here's a centre clearance for the Demons as linking up with Fairchild as Casey. This young lady has shown some marking prowess in this quarter. Lauren Yachak, who's been put forward, played a bit more in the ruck in the first half. And I think Matt Brewer has probably just seen, look, we need another marking option down forward, and this young lady has provided us.
Yeah, she's had the 4 marks, and I think they're all contested, all powerful overhead marks.
Did kick 3 goals in those 4 games for Darebin last season to break the run of 11 goals. I'm sure she kicked those goals last season, making better contact than that. It just butterflied its way through for a behind. But they've hit the scoreboard again, the red and blue, 1-2-8. They are now trailing the Hawkers 11-5-71. But promising signs from a couple of their young players for Casey.
Yes, and Melanie Hogg leading their stats marking-wise. She's had the 5 marks today.
From the kick in, it was Richardson. Kicks to the pack in which Stratton was stationed. Tackling there by Casey Phillips on Tamara Luke. At half forward here for the D's. The ball popped out the back. West got onto it. Got a handball to her teammates. And now off and running is Thorne. Drew a player and then got the handball to Hipwell, who does well to get past Johnson. Hawks on the break again. Kick down towards Matten. Knocked it on cleverly. Stratton buzzing around. Off hands and Tyler Byrne will get there first. Didn't get the kindest of bounces. It's picked up by McDonough. Round the body and snaps it through. Another beautiful snap from the Hawks. Another Smithies snag. We've had plenty of contenders today. They've kicked 12 of them all in a row. Anya McDonough has her second.
Yeah, classy finish that. And again, you see the Box Hill forwards willing to give a handball to a player in a better position. And curling around in the line of vision of the player with the ball, then snapping it around on the left. That's a fantastic goal. We saw on centre wing here, it was Bridie Hipwell who got the handball over the top. Then she was able to step her player on the inside, and once that happened, the field opened up for her. She's got good leg speed, Then that chaos ball over the back again in the Box Hill Hawks forward 50. Once it hits at ground level, they swarm around it like a mosquito fleet, and then they're just picking good options, putting teammates in better positions.
4 multiple goal kickers now for Box Hill. Bates stood up strong in the tackle, had her handball smothered. We've seen every bit from Anya McDonough today. We've seen that blistering speed at half forward in the second quarter, snapping the goal. A couple of wonderful overhead marks. Away we go again in the middle. We didn't get too far. 12-5 plays 1-2. Casey just looking to try and find an avenue to goal. Haven't really looked like kicking one since Darcy kicked the opening goal of the match. Any opportunities they've had since then have been under pressure. Scrappy football in midfield. Fairchild a little handball. Bursting onto it, Sheeran. That'll be her first disposal. Left foot kick towards half forward. A nice mark taken as well. This is Zoe Mitchell, who's had a bit of it in this third term. 50 from home. Hawks players flooding back. Long and strong to Yat Jacket full forward. She's got it. No, touched play on. Didn't bother her. She showed she can take the marks or crumb her own work as well. Yat Jack kicks the Demons second. And she's probably just about been, maybe not their best player in this quarter, but certainly their most exciting.
I think the most impressive, I would say, just showing multiple facets to her game. The overhead marking. What I really like was Sheeran coming through the middle of the ground. A clean take at ground level. You mentioned she's been quiet today, but that was a big positive. And then the recognition of the one-on-one matchup with Yazjak put it to her advantage. I thought it was a mark, but the umpire said play on, and she was smart enough to convert that really smartly. And some good reward for Casey. We mentioned that stops the run of 12 straight goals. Reward for effort, which is great.
19-year-old won't turn 20 until September. Mentioned that she played a bit for Darebin. Out of the Northern Knights and originally from the Banyule Footy Club. Here's a big contest. Morris one way, Tamara Smith the other. And Tamara Smith gets reward for putting her head over the football, taken high.
How's the commitment from both players?
Yeah, outstanding, especially in a game that, 10-goal difference. That's one thing that people always seem to say about women's footy. Good, bad or indifferent, they love the physicality. The Hawks go into the 50. Horn, a hurried kick out of the defensive zone. Sheriff couldn't take the mark. Sammy Johnson's in there. How did the umpire see that? He calls for a ball up.
I'll just go back to Yazjak for a second. The 5 contested marks, I think it is, they're the sort of traits that you expect are going to translate well to the next level.
Here's O'Neill. Turns on to the left. They're starting to win it out of the middle now, the Demons. Mitchell had a busy quarter. Meg McDonald, her kick was touched. Bouncing ball there for Lehman, who tried to go off the ground. Smith might have been taken high again. Umpire waved play on. Kick out of the back 50. It's well done going back against the grain. Gabby Collingwood looking for McDonough one-on-one. Ball spilt through her hands. Hogg should get there first for the Demons. Clean pick-up, nice handball to Casey, who was dispossessed. And all the good work come undone. West gave the handball to Kendall. Demon player down behind play. Kendall lines it up and kicks a ripper. Her third of the day. A Smithy snag to be sure. Mietta Kendall running away from goal, worked it back beautifully, and that's no mean feat kicking a goal like that to that end. It's a bit of a Bermuda Triangle sometimes, that end. The ball disappears on you. Yeah, and they get that one back quickly, the Hawks.
And it was Eliza West with the handball over the top to Kendall, and then Kendall wrapped around West. Could have given the give and go, but she knew what she was doing, and as soon as that hit her boot, that was flushed in the sort of the harder pocket to kick goals from here at Casey. The wind pushing the ball across the face, but that's a Smithy snag if ever there's been one. That'll be hard to beat today.
3 goals straight for Mietta Kendall. Did brilliantly there. 13-5-83.
Didn't the crowd love it too, Brent?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Mietta still has some fans here, and they remember them when they were at Casey and Melbourne. Fleming takes the advantage, maximum advantage taken over the head of Kendall. Might get it back from hands. She does. Bangs through another. She's got 4. Brutal from the Hawks. how big is that when you can get a good, clean advantage? Well done to Jasmine Fleming. Play to the whistle, stay alert. Unselfish play again from the Hawks. Kendall has 2 goals in the space of about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're playing the broken record here, but again, the Hawks coming out the front of the centre square stoppage. Again, it's the willingness of the Hawks forwards to give a handball at the first opportunity. Really clean take, but so impressive that they've got players running to the right spot. But when you're winning a game like this, it could be easy to get a little bit selfish and want to have a snap-on goal, but unquestionably, every time they give the ball to the player in the better position.
Here they go again. Fleming brilliantly roved. Wasn't the best handball for Bates. Had to put her head over it. Might have been tackled without it. Eventually it's Rosie Dillon who sends a left foot kick down towards Sheriff. He marks and plays on. Handball on the bounce found West. Shrugged the tackle. She's got a teammate who's going to load up to the goal square. Stratton, yes! Well, this is an avalanche right now. Stratton has taken the mark next to the goal square, according to the umpire. Stratton's going to go back for her third. Sorry, Mick.
She was trying to convince that she had a feed in the goal square. Won't. Oh, I was going to say.
What were you going to say, Mick?
It won't affect it.
Well, it's a poor miss from Christy Stratton. I bet she wish it was in the goal square now, behind, right on the 3.
Proposals to Box Hill, 125 to Casey Demons. Jasmine Fleming leading the way with 29 possessions on track for some huge numbers.
So just a history lesson. This is the Hawks' biggest ever score to 3/4 time in the VFLW as Fleming takes another advantage. We're keeping an eye on whether or not this can be their biggest score ever. 16-12, 108 that is. Great play from Tamara Smith. Wobbles a left foot kick into the 50. Kendall in front, no mark. Stratton couldn't rove, kept the momentum going forward. Handball found McDonough. She couldn't find herself clear. A handball missed Eliza West. Ragoni on the last line. Patted it straight back to her opposite number there in Sheriff. Let's come back to Fleming. She deserves a goal, Jessie Fleming, from a standing start. Put it to full forward. Well done, Darcy. Keep her footing and beat her opponent. Wasn't a great kick to Ragoni. Her speed might save them here. Kick towards the outer side, but again, the Hawks just set up so well behind the footy. Richardson linking up with her teammates. Fleming, try to get it back to Richardson. It was a hot handball. Richardson puts the clamps on Olivia Morris and a ball up at half forward.
Yeah, Sarah Darcy moved to a key defensive position in this final quarter. See her involved in that last play, winning a one-on-one with Stratton.
And just that score for the Hawks, 16-12, 108. That came against the Western Bulldogs, round 5, 2022. So they'd only have to kick 3 more goals to get near that, as we have a repeat stoppage on the outer side of Casey Fields. The Hawks kicked 5 goals in the first term, 3 in the second, and then 6 in the third quarter. Most of them came probably in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Great link-up play again from the stoppage. Long kick down towards Stratton at full forward, who judged it beautifully. And she's going to try and put that last shot that she had right on the 3/4 time siren in the rear vision mirror with this one.
She might have been 5 or 6 metres closer just on the 3/4 time siren, and she copped a stack of humorous feedback from her teammates for that miss. But really good control of her body then to protect the drop of the ball.
2 goals, 2. Oh, Christie, boy. Make it 2 goals, 3, as that one barely made the distance from 15 metres out.
Yeah, it was a good old-fashioned floater. Would have been hard to mark if anyone had tried to do that.
15,
spare player out here on the wing.
15 disposals for Stratton, as Byrne has to stand her ground and judged it well. Stratton's also had 5 marks and 4 tackles. Tyler Byrne with the universally recognised symbol of come on, movement.
Yes.
Byrne goes central with the kick. Yatchak got the sit and hands to it, no mark. Wales might have thrown that one away. West gets after it. Good vision to find Fleming, who dropped the footy. Casey just wants to clear the area with the handball. Well done, Meg McDonald. Put her body on the line and wore the contact. Another ball up at half forward for the Hawks.
Big physical clash there. Eliza West is getting better as this game goes on. She's up to 19 possessions now, feeding the ball out at will.
Fleming again busy at the stoppages. Casey trying to work her off it. Byrne comes in to lend a hand. McDonald a handball on the up to the ruck. Sure that wasn't in the game plan. Came back to McDonald, who once again he's met immediately.
Been strong in their defensive efforts this first 3.5 minutes, Casey.
They had a little spurt there in the third quarter, didn't they, where they were winning clearances, getting it forward. Yak Jack took that great mark. Well, she actually took 2 marks, one that wasn't paid. That was the one that led to the goal. And then right after that, the Hawks just went whooshka and kicked 4 in a row. Trying to burst their way through here, Bates, Fleming. A couple of her handballs have gone astray. Kendall runs onto it, outside of the boot. That is magnificent. 5 Smithy snags. One of the best individual performances you'll see all season, and it's come on the opening Sunday, Mietta Kendall.
Yeah, the vision will tell the story there, but running against the flow there, putting the ball across the body from about 35 metres out, it was never going to miss. She's making the most of the opportunities here today. Kendall is at the local flora and fauna in the background. We can hear they're impressed with that goal as well.
I don't know what those birds are, but they are a jolly nuisance out this way. They always come past.
I think it's some form of cockatoo, isn't it? Someone at home would know the specific breed, but they're certainly making some noise here at Casey Fields, just as Box Hill are. They're on track for that record score, I think, Brent.
Yeah, 15-7-97 plays 2-2-14. Mietta Kendall, career best 5 straight, 9 disposals, 5 goals for Mietta Kendall. Has played a lot of football here, as we've mentioned earlier. Was on Melbourne's list and played a lot for Casey. So they're only 11 points away from equaling their highest ever score. 5.5 into the final quarter. Casey go forward here. Tamara Smith races on out after it. Gets there ahead of Mitchell. Doubles back. Tried to share it with McClendon. Now it's come to Cattle, who just bats her way clear. Kick down the line was good. Mark taken by Thorne.
Got numbers on the far side here.
Like the game of Caitlin Thorne today. That's a lovely kick. Down the line. Bates, what a handball over the top. Bridie Hipwell had an awkward-looking bounce. Breaks the pain of 50. Kicks out into the pocket where Sophie Casey was actually leading up at the football, or rather Casey Phillips.
Read that very well. And Rigoni takes it and goes.
Well done overhead. She finally made it look like I actually know footy. I said she was good over her head, and she took a good overhead mark. Casey come into the middle and turn it over. Richardson on to Fleming. Now it's with Bates. Cattle through half forward, delayed the handball. Kendall gave it to Dillon. Someone's got to take the ping here. It is Rosie Dillon. Luke in the goal square, a one-handed mark. And the captain will go back for another.
Did that very well.
Just too strong.
Yeah, and I just love the casual take at the end. There was no celebration. It was just like, I'll cup this in one hand because I do it all the time. And Luke, the conversion.
Yeah, she's got 3 straight. Tamara Luke enjoying her reacquaintance with the Victorian Football League women's. And it's going to be the record today for the Hawks. They pulled to within 5 points of that record, which was 108, as Mietta Kendall sprints to the bench. 16-7-103 is Box Hill. Casey 2-2-14 with the best part of 13 minutes left in this one.
8 individual goal kickers and 4 with multiples. Jasmine Fleming up to the 35 possessions now. Put her on 40 watch as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure we had anyone crack the 40 disposal mark last year. Williams in the ruck for the Demons. Oh, Fairchild left it behind. Brown and Gold circling. Olivia Morris works a hurried kick down towards half forward. It's intercepted by Jenna Richardson. To the outer side, looking for Thorne. Couldn't gather. Under immediate pressure from McDonald, who's tried her heart out today for the Demons. Bates a solid tackle.
Yeah, well done, McDonald then. I will point out at three-quarter time that Casey Huddle was very positive. We've mentioned the weight of talent on the Box Hill side, but still really positive about getting something out of this game.
Have a look at some of the players that aren't playing for Box Hill today. They'd be walk-up starters at VFLW level anyway for most teams. Ward will get out the back here. Rigoni got to use her speed. Beat Stratton to the football. Stratton didn't give up. She lost the footy and tripped over and might have come off worse for wear. Here comes Rosie Dillon. Delayed the handball for Cattle. Cattle bumped off her kick. Luke comes out of the goal square. She's not great at picking it up below her knees. And Dillon backed up and was taken in a strong tackle.
She's up and moving, Christy Stratton, in the background, but that was a big fall. She's not moving 100%, but she's going to run this off.
Keep an eye on Stratton as plays back underway in the forward pocket for the Hawks. Dillon a handball taken by Yatjak of Casey. Kicks back to the outer side. Just running herself under that football was Zoe Mitchell. Trying to pick it up here, Thorne. Wales. Back to, I think it was McClendon who had her kick smothered. Just a bit of pressure from Casey. McDonald is in there, Fairchild as well. And another ball up. How's Christie going?
Yeah, she's going okay, just taking her time to recover, but I reckon that magic elixir of the ball appearing inside forward 50 might do the trick.
West, too strong, shugs the tackle. Fleming, long to fall forward. Tamara Luke is there. She's got herself under the footy. Hogg collects at the front of the pack. Mitchell's kick smothered. It's there for Ragoni. Hurried little kick away. Fairchild trying to wrench it clear, and she does, but to her team's detriment. Fleming, Hipwell turns, has a look at the sticks from the tightest of angles and missed to the near side. And I reckon that might be Hipwell's third behind of the match. Missed a couple of set shots.
Yes, she's had the 1 goal 3, and up to 38 possessions is Jasmine Fleming.
That's a lovely kick.
39, I should say.
Sorry, Mick. Hogg to Byrne. And that was not a good kick, and out of bounds by Lassou. Haven't seen too many of those today, the old Lassou rule.
No, we haven't. Eliza West coming up with possession number 21. 16 handballs she's had. Been a real driver out of that engine room.
She'll get another kick here. Hangs that one up looking for Fleming, but Lynn got in front. It's repeat entries at the moment for Box Hill. Lynn's kick out of the back 50 is not good.
That'll be one area that Casey will focus on. They have exposed the footy in dangerous areas with short kicks, a lot coming out of their defensive 50.
Cattle, it was a good looking kick for Luke, just dropped short of her. Stratton races onto the football. Got it up to her teammate from deep in the pockets. Unbelievable. It was Caitlin Thorne out there on the paint of the boundary. Good luck picking a Smithy snag this week. We've had half a dozen of them.
Yeah, that was outstanding. Again, Christy Stratton, she shows she's recovered from that tumble earlier, getting the handball, or spinning out of the pack again and getting a handball, and then deep in that far forward pocket. The goal umpire did not move. Straight over the head for an outstanding conversion. And where do we sit on record score pace here, Brent?
We've got it now, 17-8, 110. That surpasses the previous record that the Hawks kicked a couple of years ago, 16-12, 108. So this is Hawthorn/Box Hills' highest ever score kicked in this league. Of course, they were known as Hawthorn before their senior side entered the Australian Football League Women's.
What a way to bring up the record score too.
Unbelievable goal.
Still this hunger here. You can see the excitement they're getting, the players, as West runs onto this.
Left foot kick down towards full forward. You wouldn't bet against another one here. Losing her footing was Matten. The umpire has paid a free kick going against the Hawks.
It's Gemma Proy. Good effort in that marking contest.
Off to Mel Hogg, who will probably like to forget her final game for the Demons. Sat it on the head of Yatjak. It went over her head and into the lap of Sheeran. He's had a quiet afternoon. Very dangerous kick. It's well broken up. Hipwell, I think it was, left it for Bates. Eliza West been so good in traffic today. Whole lot of carnage in behind her. Thorne's kicked one beauty already. That one offline. Bounces out of play in the left forward pocket.
Yeah, just off the instep, that kick ran back against the flow of play. It always looks spectacular. Be disappointed there wasn't a better finish then, but they'll get an opportunity here with the stoppage.
Boundary throw-ins inside 50, come in 10 metres. You might remember in the AFLW last season, we went back to the boundary line. They haven't implemented that in the VFLW this season. Stratton gets after the loose football. Proy is taken down, jumped on by Emily Bates.
Two big contests from Proy. Well done in the last minute. Watch Bates get on the move here.
Forward 50 stoppage for the Hawks. It's Stratton. Just jags it on the boot. It's going to go right to the line. Hipwell dueling with Darcy. Darcy won the football. Hipwell caught her. Should have been holding the ball. And another freak goal kicked from right in the shadows of the behind post. Jess Matten. This is a freak show.
Yeah, they're putting on a display of all their skills here. I think if we go to about 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, I think we've had 5 genuine Smithy snags of all types, most of them out near the boundary.
I reckon Smithies are happy with their sponsorship of the VFL and VFLW. A ripper.
Well, there'll be a bulk order of Smithy snags this week, I think.
We'll pick one, Mick. Matten just then, or the last one, Thorn? Which one gets your pick?
The last one, and I really liked it was Kendall's right foot kick from about 40 in the third quarter, right of screen.
And that's Matten's second goal. Breaking all sorts of records here today, the Hawks. Most goals they've ever kicked in a match. Highest ever score. Bates has led from the front. Handball to West. Beautiful handball in stride. Back to Bates, who goes looking for Kendall at half forward. Couldn't quite get front position. Tyler Byrne bounces it into the middle. Swain gathers nicely on the bounce. Right up the middle of Casey Fields. Lehman had it knocked away by her opponent there in Spammer. Another Hawthorn player stripped of it. That might have been McClendon. A few tired players in there now, I would imagine. Casey couldn't get a run at the footy. Still, I think it's Ellie McClendon underneath all of that. The umpire does us all a favour. Calls for a ball up.
Emily Bates with the 18 handballs today amongst her 28 possessions. I think every one of them has hit a teammate in stride.
I'm not sure Casey have ever been done by more than 100 points in the VFLW before. As we see her holding the ball here, but oh gee, a sloppy handball. Looks like it's going to be a heavy defeat and potentially a triple-digit defeat for the first time for the Red and Blue. They've been very competitive since entering the league, and they've been competitive today really around the contest. There's just been a clear gap in class, which we probably come to the ground expecting today, with Box Hill naming 10 of their AFLW listed players. It was Bates who's pinged for a over-the-shoulder tackle on Meg McDonald.
Let's see if Casey can push forward and get this margin back under the 3 figures.
McDonald kicks it right down the line. Sheriff assumed front position. Couldn't hold on. Perhaps a chance here for Lehman.
There's been some positives out of, the scoreboard's certainly not what Casey would have expected. But Yazak and Rigoni have been terrific performers today.
Swain had a big swing and a miss. Probably one of the players for Casey, Leah Swain, that has won her particular matchup in the ruck. Fairchild over the loose football.
Yeah, Melanie Hogg, I know we've spoken about it being her last game, but I really like how she's gone about it. She's been strong and reliable. But then when you look on the Box Hill side of the equation, there's, almost every player's had an input.
Yep. Very even performance today, even from their young VFLW players. Chance here for Lehman. Pretty good at the ground balls normally. Kick around the body. Oh, big collision between two Hawks. And it's there for Yat Jack to handball out in front of O'Neill. O'Neill can straighten up and just got it working the wrong way. And it bounces out of play. That was Tamara Smith, and I think Van Berkel might have been the other. Both of them up and okay.
Yeah, the willingness to keep the eyes on the ball at all times. It's just an outstanding attribute of this competition. It's hard in the mouth sort of stuff at times.
Casey with a rare forward 50 stoppage. Bates comes away with it. Handball out in front of Eliza West, who is captured. And a repeat stoppage. Final 90 seconds of this one. Box Hill with this win and percentage will be on top of the table at the end of round one.
Percentage will be in the 900% range.
A couple of other teams that had big wins as well this week, but this by far the biggest. Oh, Mel Hogg, what a tackle.
Spoke to a few players before the game. They got a lot of love and appreciation for Mel Hogg, showing her efforts there again. Bates with another handball to someone in stride.
How many times have they linked up today? Weston Bates, Dylan a little fumble. Back to Thorne. Can she kick a second last quarter goal? Had a long think about it and then straightened up from 30. And after kicking the most incredible goal you've ever seen earlier this quarter, missed from 30 out on the run. Missed everything, the whole set.
It's the beauty of football, isn't it? And I will say it's fantastic to be back the season. We mentioned this is the last game of the opening round of the VFLW season. It's fantastic to be back at the footy, seeing such a high standard of competition. Oh,
smothered by Luke on the mark. It was the kick from Tegan Williams. Luke gets out after it, trying to knock it onto Kendall. Kendall's got 5, dishes it off to Dylan. Dylan bending it back through for goal number 19, if you don't mind. Fantastic. And well done, Mietta Kendall.
Yeah, I was looking at that thinking, you know, your eyes light up, the chance to kick 6. But that unselfishness was spoken about so often today. Every Box Hill player, when they're inside 50, when they're getting a ground ball, it's almost like the old coaching you got in junior days where they say, give the first option off the ground. Well, they just do it religiously. And there must have been, it's nearly double figures, I think, in goals that have come off handballs from teammates. Yeah, we do look at those disposal numbers across the course of this game. 290 total disposals for the game. 165 for Casey. Some numbers, the handballs, 147 to 57, just reinforces that message about the unselfishness of the Box Hill players. And the 45 inside 50s they've converted for 27 scores.
Dylan becomes the 10th and you would imagine final individual goal kicker for Box Hill. The highest ever score, and it will be their biggest ever win in the Victorian Football League Women's for them. Wales won last contest. Box Hill run out big winners, enormous winners. The final margin in the end, 108 points. Box Hill, how about that scoreline? 19-8, 122. They defeat the Casey Demons 2-2-14. A very happy team indeed at Box Hill tonight. We'll get the stats in just a moment from Mick O'Neill, but the goal kickers, 10 of them for the Brown.